new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.
Doubleheader Sunday is upon us. The first of the fixtures is Gujarat Titans against Sunrisers Hyderabad. Time to build up to that on Maruti Suzuki Arena. Presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout in the company of Varun Aaron and Mitch McClenaghan. Both teams with a win and a loss each so far. The big driver for Sunrisers being Klaasen, 2 sensational knocks to follow up what has been an astounding run of form over the past year or so. Since we have 2 fast bowlers who have often had to bowl against batters going crazy, what do you do when a batter is in that kind of run, Varun?
I think you really got to hit your wide Yorker really well. I think, okay, forget the plans. I think you have to execute first. Like, if you don't execute to him, if you have a plan and you don't execute, he is going to take you to the cleaners. If you miss, he is definitely going to hit. I think number one, wide Yorkers, and also that in between length, not short, not too full. Just that 7-meter length is really good for him, because his the way he sets up is to either hit the short ball or the full ball. The in between length, like hitting like his belt, hitting his like the lower part of his thigh guard, is something which he finds it a bit difficult.
Yeah, I actually agree with you there. I think we don't see enough balls attacking off stump to him early. I think as a bowler, you know, when someone so threatening comes to the wicket straight away, your first port of call should be to try and get them out in the first 3 or 4 balls, and generally that's going to be making sure you're hitting the top of the stumps. You can use the variation on the crease, go a little bit wider if you're a right-hander, get a little bit closer. He doesn't move his feet early a lot, so if you can hit that good length, that 6.5, 7 metre length, you can actually bring in that outside edge or the pads or the stumps into play. So that's first and foremost. You touched on wide Yorkers in terms of plans to him. I think he hits a lot of his boundaries either dead straight or through the leg side. So we haven't seen any of the right-handers in particular, go around the wicket, shut down one side of the field, go across, try and hit the wide line with wide Yorkers, wide slow ball bounces. We haven't seen that kind of plan come into play. Most people have just tried to go straight Yorkers or bowl a bouncer or straight slow ball bouncers. So tactically, you've just got to be a little bit better. Force him to hit you over extra cover for 6. He plays with a very straight bat. And I think in terms of field-wise, you could have the deep point, deep extra cover, mid-off, and then you can probably almost have like a straight mid-on because he hits the sight screen really well, and then you can have your cow and just say, right, if you're good enough to step across, get me over square leg if it's up, then so be it, but I'm going to execute that wide plan.
Gujarat have their own South African middle order batter who's been such a mainstay for them in their success over the past couple of seasons, but David Miller's form, by his standards, has tapered off a bit, especially the strike rate, which can be a little concerning when you're batting in those positions that he does. Have you noticed any trend and why that's happening?
No trend in particular. I guess if you're saying the strike rate's low, probably just means he just hasn't been executing as well. Very tough role, being a finisher. I know we're probably comparing him to Klaasen, who comes in and does it so well at the moment. Klaasen starts very well against spin. David Miller not as proficient against spin early. You can get a few dots on him, but I think he's a class player. We saw it last year. He'll get into the rhythm of the IPL, get used to the situations that he's coming in, and also who he's batting around. That'll be key for his form going forward. But he's such an important cog in the wheel for Gujarat.
You would have spent some time with him in your season with the Titans. And I remember there was, coming into that season, some observations on how Miller can't take down spin. And I remember his father had tweeted something. And then a few games into the season, he just got into his groove and never stopped really for Gujarat. So is he also that kind of player who might take a few games, but once he's in, he's in?
It's funny you say that, because I was just going to say, before you asked me, when Mitch was talking, that Miller actually came into the Gujarat setup at the back of few not so good seasons. And I mean, obviously he had started off really well in the IPL, taken the IPL by storm, but then he just went into a lean patch. And then when he came into Gujarat, he was their mainstay, especially to finish games. He obviously has not had the best 2024 yet, but we're just a few months into the year. We shouldn't really think about it too much. He's a really, really good player. It's just about that one knock, you know. I feel, actually not even one knock. If David Miller connects a proper 6, middle of the bat, and he generally hits them really big. I know that he's going to get going.
The matchup we're focusing on in this contest is right at the top of the Gujarat batting effort. It's Shubman Gill against Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Gill, who has an astonishing record at this venue in particular. Bhuvneshwar Kumar, a power play gun, but we haven't seen those wickets that we're so accustomed to seeing. How much of how that contest goes dictates how this game goes, Mitch?
Yeah, I mean, Gujarat are very reliant on Gill at the moment. They seem to be playing a batter light. You've got Omazai who's come up to number 4 to kind of fit in that role that Hardik Pandya did last year. So Gill scoring runs for them is very important. Bhuvi's Bhuvi, right? So Bhuvi's class. He's on the money straight away. I think Bhuvi's bowled very well so far this tournament. He just hasn't had the reward that he would like and knocking off the top as we're used to seeing. But it doesn't look like it's far away. You've seen Bhuvi quite a lot. What's your take on it?
I feel Bhuvi, I would agree with Mitch. Bhuvi's bowling really well. Like the other night in Eden Gardens, he was bowling unbelievably well. It was sad he didn't get a wicket, but he should have definitely got at least 2. But the thing is, where I feel Bhuvi has been struggling is towards the end, which he was really good pre his injury, pre 2021. And yeah, Bhuvi is key to their bowling attack, but it's important for him to know his role. His role is to swing the ball, get the batsman out up front, and that's exactly what he's going to do to Gill, because Gill is somebody who's very handsy, and all these handsy players just love to go at the ball slightly on 4th stump, and Bhuvi moves it really well. It's going to be an interesting matchup, Bhuvi and
and
Gill.
just to follow on from that, you said that at this, Bhuvi struggled at the death a little bit more. The other night where there was 246 runs scored against him, he had an over, I think it was the 14th or 15th over, which didn't go for a boundary. I think it was only Bumrah and him who had an over in the game that didn't go for a boundary. And he looked clear in his execution. And if you're James Franklin, the bowling coach for SRH, or Dan Vittori as the head coach, you see that, and you see that over in a big moment in such a critical chase. That's really good signs that Bhuvi's coming back to his best.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, gents. Thank you for helping us set this one up. Gujarat versus Hyderabad is the first game of doubleheader Sunday. Be sure to catch our coverage from 2:55 p.m. IST on Maruti Suzuki Arena. Presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.